In this video, I'd like to explain how the timed while loop works because it's got so many of those little parts that are all working together. So first of all, I'd like to point out at the very start of the program, after all the variables have been declared, I have this line of code in my public form 1 underneath the initialize component. And so this code runs only once at the start of the program. It sets the previous time equal to the environment.toCount. So that's going to get the program's starting time. Let's assume for this example that the previous time is going to start off at 0. When I click on my start label over here, it's going to jump into the LBL start underscore click subprogram. And what that does is it sets keep running to equal true, and then it's going to get stuck in this while loop for a long time, or potentially a long time. And so a while loop, remember, is code that's just going to get repeated over and over and over and over until the loop condition becomes false. And the way we've set up our loop is that, or set up our program is that keep running only becomes false if the user presses a key on the keyboard while the loop is running. So after the user presses the start label, it's going to be stuck in here, and it's going to be repeating these same commands over and over. It's going to get the current time that the program is at. It's going to calculate the difference, the time difference between the current time and the previous time that the loop was run. So at the very start of the program, our our previous time variable is going to be at 0, and that should be previous time run. Okay, so let's run through our code. So we click on that LBL start, our loop starts to run, and it gets the current time. So let's pretend that the current time is this green line that I'm going to draw across over here. So it's going, and so the current time, maybe it equals 800 milliseconds or whatever it is. Okay, so it's going to do this calculation. Time difference equals current time minus previous time run. So if I am right here, this is my current time, and I said that was 800, it's going to calculate 800 minus 0. So that's going to be 800. Now if 800 is greater than or equal to our frame time, it's going to count up our label. Well, so this really depends on our frame time. Our frame time right now is equal to 1000 because we wanted it to count up once every 1000 milliseconds, or in other words, every 1 second. Well, since 800 is not greater than or equal to 1000, this if statement gets skipped, and my application is just going to do other stuff until the loop runs again. So at this point, the label does not get updated. So let's pretend our program continues running. So when it continues running, it hits the bottom of the loop and it jumps all the way back up, and it gets the current time again. So let's say the current time is equal to maybe 1050. So current time is equal to 1050. What it's going to do after that is it's going to calculate the time difference. It's going to have 1050 over here. Sorry about that. 1050 minus previous time run. Previous time run is still 0. So that's 1050. And so what we're going to have is time difference 1050 greater than or equal to 1000. Yes, that's true. So we're going to increase our counter by 1, and we're going to update our label. And then it's going to update the previous time run. So previous time run right now, it might be 1050, it might be 1100. That doesn't really matter, but the point is, over 1000 seconds has passed. It's going to continue up our loop, start up at the beginning, and it's going to get the current time again. And so let's just say some time is run, and our time is now here. So that might be 1800. It's going to calculate our time difference, 1,800 minus previous time run, which is, what do we say it was? It was 1,050, right? And so 1,800 minus 1,050 is 750, and so that is less than 1,000. So it's going to skip this if statement again, and it's going to do other stuff, and then it's going to come back up here, and it's going to get the current time again. And so a current time, let's say our program has continued running, and it is now here, 2017. Okay, so now it's going to calculate a time difference of 2017 minus 1050. That is, it's not quite 1,000. So that is equal to, I'm going to do some mental math here. It may or may not be wrong. You can check it up on your, sure, yeah, that's a 7. Okay, so it's not quite 1,000 yet, so nothing happens with our if statement because it gets skipped. So it's going to go back into this application.do events. It's going to accept other stuff, do whatever. It's going to jump back to the top of the loop, and it's going to get our current time again. And our current time maybe now is over here. And so our current time, let's just say that is 2,300. So we got 2,300 minus 1,050. Oh, look at that. That's greater than 1,000. That's 1,250. So since that number is bigger than our frame time, our label gets to count up again. Okay? And so this process gets repeated over and over. The current time is just going to continue running, sort of like this green line over here. And every single time that it runs, it's going to do this calculation. It calculates how much time has passed. And if enough time has passed, it's going to start counting up our label.